Of the Cowboys, and Todd McShay's latest mock draft, he has Dallas taking South Carolina cornerback J.C. Horn, who's the son of the former NFL receiver Joe Horn, looking to shore up a defense that was severely lacking last season. But earlier this week, our Chris Mortensen revealed Jerry Jones may have other plans for draft day. Listen to this.
We're hearing this thing about Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, and the GM being infatuated with Kyle Pitts. So I have figured out that he's going to have to trade up to get Kyle Pitts. He spent $40 million a year on Dak Prescott, so why not go get Kyle Pitts? Or if he actually falls to 10, you couldn't rule him out.
Okay, so let's just dive into this here. To be clear, and Matt Miller, I don't want to step on your toes here. You're the draft expert. There's no conceivable chance Kyle Pitts slips to 10. Kyle Pitts, I think it is very likely, will be the first non-quarterback drafted. So not only is Jerry Jones, if he's going to do this, going to take an offensive player rather than defense, Matt, but he will have to trade other capital in order to do it. Do we have that right?
Yeah, you have that right. He's not falling to 10 overall. I can't see him getting past 6 overall. What's funny about this is about a week ago, you started to hear from scouts that, hey, Dallas loves Kyle Pitts. Like, okay, that's cute. He's not going to be there at 10. And then you have Shefty and Mort reporting things like, you know, Atlanta would be open to trading that number 4 pick. And you could pretty easily put the dots together of Atlanta basically saying, oh, you want Kyle Pitts? Come and get him. Now, the cost is not going to be the same as what we just saw San Francisco pay to move up to get a quarterback. That's something important to remember. But if Jerry Jones wants to build a super team on offense with Dak Prescott back, Tyron Smith back, you've got the great receiving core there. They drafted CeeDee Lamb in the first round last year. Oh, and you have Ezekiel Elliott. If you had Kyle Pitts to that offense, guys, no disrespect to Tampa Bay, that's the best offense in the NFC. They have a great offensive line. You got a very, very good quarterback. And if you add in the LeBron James of tight end prospects and Kyle Pitts, I don't know how you stop Dallas. So I understand Jerry saying, who needs defense when you can score 50 points a game? The Kansas City's doing okay without a defense. Let's go get our guy.
For folks who haven't seen Pitts, he's basically the next Travis Kelce. That is the projection of him. So just envision that weapon on your offense. Jeff Darlington, what are you hearing around the league? Jerry, you see him going up there to 4 to take a tight end?
Well, I think, first of all, I don't think that he'll trade all the way to 4 to get him. But I do think that this is a watershed moment potentially for that tight end position. Because if he does, in fact, go that early, and by the way, I could see him sliding past 4 a little bit, but I don't see him getting to 10 either. I just think that's a major moment for this position. I mean, the fact that this is a class loaded with really top-level wide receivers, and we're talking about this tight end as being the likely first skill position player taken in this draft. So I think this is a Travis Kelce, George Kittle. These guys have to be sitting there standing up, clapping their hands, saying, look at what's happening to this tight end position. And to that point, I think he's going very early.
Yeah, they've changed the sport. I mean, that position has changed the sport, and you look at the evolution of it over the last decade. But D. Wood, let's not bury the lead here. The Dallas Cowboys defense last year was atrocious, and everyone keeps telling me, Dan Quinn is the new defensive coordinator. He's going to fix all those problems. They better be paying him a lot of money if he's going to stop the run. They're going to need to get some help on defense, D. Wood. Would it make sense to you for them to take another offensive weapon rather than going defense?
Greeny, my head said hell no. Like, you need the Dallas Cowboys defense made me nauseous last year watching them. Okay, so my head was like, you got to go with a defensive player. But Greeny, I need this to happen, Greeny. I want this to happen because it's the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, we're talking about the star, Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is this is the typical type of Jerry Jones move. Okay, you go out there and trade up to get, in my opinion, the best prospect in the draft in Kyle Pitts. Man, get your popcorn ready because that will be showtime in Dallas.
I'm with that. And look, I'm rooting for it, too. From that perspective, doesn't mean it makes any sense. As Chris Rock famously said, you can drive a car with your feet if you want to. It doesn't mean it's a good idea. Matt, if all the defensive players slide to 10, which is very possible, we could live in a world, if Jerry doesn't, I guess even if he does, that there could be, the first 9 picks could all be offensive players. Who's the first defensive player then off the board, in your view?
Yeah, I think it would probably be Patrick Surtain, second from Alabama. We're talking about all these guys with, NFL bloodlines, and he has some very good ones. So I think he is probably the odds-on favorite right now to be the first defender selected. That could be 8 at Carolina. Denver really shored up their secondary by getting Kyle Fuller into free agency, but Dallas at 10 has seemed like a very good spot for Surtain. J.C. Horn from South Carolina also in the running there, but it seems like the first defender will be a corner this year.
That's my point. So that's who they'd be passing up. That's the player, the opportunity, maybe whoever they deem to be the best defensive player in the whole draft is what they'd be passing on. Let's leave that there for the moment. Much more football as we go. But now the game of the night in the NBA. 2 best teams in the sport, and it lived up in every way. Devin Booker and the Suns hosting the Jazz. Pick it up in the 4th, under 20 seconds to go. Booker, no. Jazz going the other way. Suns are up by 3, but Donovan Mitchell has other ideas. Look at him knocking down a tough shot in transition, and we're all tied. So the Suns get one more opportunity to win it. In regulation, where are you going to go with the ball? Devin Booker at the buzzer for the win. No good. We go to overtime, tied at 102. The Jazz have not won an overtime game in 3 years. And right off the opening tip, you get a sense of why. They're not ready to go. Who's going to play some defense here? Devin Booker, right off the overtime tip, takes it strong to the hole. Suns get the lead. 2 minutes to go now. Suns are up by 5. It's Mitchell again. How good was he in this game? Look at the spin. Look at the float. 41 for Mitchell, 1 shy of his season high. But it wasn't enough. Just over a minute to go. Suns up by 3. Booker is trapped. Where are you going to go? CP3. Putting the 3 in his name. Jazz still can't win in overtime. Suns take it 117-113, and suddenly the race in the West is heating up. The Suns are just a game and a half back of Utah for the top seed. However, despite the Suns' current run, our analytics still give Utah an 89% chance of being the 1 seed in the West. Meanwhile, we've got great NBA action coming your way. Saturday, prime time on ABC. Lakers playing the 3rd game of their 5-game East Coast trip against KD and Kyrie and the Nets. Our coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 8 Eastern. It's on ABC, and again, always available on the ESPN app. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers' future is in jeopardy, figuratively and maybe even literally. Could that future be closer than we think in Green Bay? Plus, could there be a quarterback competition brewing in Carolina? They've got one. Should they draft another? We're diving into that as we roll along. And a little sneaky Hembo time for Chris Canty, who's going to jump in here. Who are the 2 quarterbacks drafted number 3 overall, like Sam Darnold, that started in the Super Bowl? That's the question.